I hit the fucking red button.
Fucking red button's hit. Big.
Down. Morning episode. The boys got the coffee.
Big motherfucking game is with us today. That's Joey.
I've been
I don't know how
2006.
How'd that start? Joey, big.
Is that your nickname?
Big
From
game?
him.
Big game.
I didn't know.
I don't know. You know why?
Okay,
He's a big game
It was
fisherman.
because when I started, I was young and I was excited, as we all were, and we would have a port session every evening.
Talk about your day.
What rope? It was like
Pamlico.
with Captain Richard Andrews. He owned the house.
Who's a fucking stud now?
Yeah, he owns Eastern North Carolina.
He owns, yeah.
And Toby Russ was my roommate with Richard.
Who's a fucking stud now?
Who is? The first friend I had when I moved here still is one of my best friends. And every day I would get home from working on the Hunter, which is now the Marlin Gull. He had a Paul. He was building a Paul Mann when I started.
That was
working.
Walt's first boat. Was the Marlin Gull, which was the Hunter?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And
Wait, were y'all up here?
well, I was in Hatteras for a month, and I'd come home for a couple days.
And
And then I would go, we came back in the end of June, and I would come home and I would talk about my day and all this, and Donnie would sit over there going, yeah.
Bitch about
I
your
remember
dad
all
a
that.
little
And he started calling me Big Game, because all I would talk about is a marlin or something.
which I was already, yeah. Guys,
Can I do that in the microphone?
You do it every day.
We might be
now.
able to hear that.
Once again, two offshore guys, me by myself.
You're outnumbered.
I
again.
also thought about that going, God, he's going to hate all this offshore talk.
Well, we did it last week with Jake and
I know. I've been freaking like just covering him.
We're going to get him to come out with us.
Yeah, I know.
no desire. We've gone through this too. I talked to him yesterday about if somebody would have paid me back in the day, $300 a day to just sit at home and rig baits, rig mackerels, rig ballyhoos, sew shit up, make rigs, it would have been a great gig for me, because the day when we had to wake up and leave the dock, I hated it every day. Loved sitting home, listening to rock and roll, rigging baits, drinking.
Yes.
Which
I loved that part as well.
hold on. Let's back up. Backstory. Introduce yourself, Joey B.
I'm Joey Belton. I captained the Haphazard
Out of Pirates Cove.
out of Pirates Cove Marina.
Yacht Club.
Yes.
At a yacht club.
And,
He's fancy.
and I've been doing that. This will be the start of my 8th season.
God damn.
And but I'm from the western part of the state, Mount Airy, which is Mayberry, and everybody's like, "How the hell did you get here?" I'm like, "What else? Came here to go fishing."
Exactly.
And I graduated from NC State in May of 04 and moved down here and worked on an inshore boat. I graduated on a Friday. I started working on a Monday.
Who are you working with?
Matt Landrum.
That's right.
Greatest job I've had to this day.
That's right. That's where it started. You were on the
Fantasia.
Yeah.
We didn't know how good we had it being inshore mates, did we? We wanted to go offshore and we wanted to do, and God,
Dude.
if I could go, that was a great gig.
Because I realized when I started doing my research for my PhD with Davenport on the Fanatic.
Oh, yeah. He was my dot partner.
How good it was to work inshore. You made a little less money, but I slept till 6:30 every day. A lot less stress.
Nice people.
And then I realized
half days.
this is where I need to go.
You came in for lunch. You had a lunch break.
I ate at Hurricane Moe's for lunch every day.
We'd go up to the Oasis. You go up to the buffet, the Oasis. You get in a little early because Davenport would shyster him any chance he could get. We were coming in, cheating him on time. We'd come in, go to the Oasis up the road for the all-you-could-eat buffet, show up a little late for the afternoon trip, and then, of course, shorten them on time. It was a great hustle, man.
When you're on a 8 or 16 knot boat, the track from Pirates Cove Bridge to Oregon Inlet Bridge was a long track.
It was.
So you got a really good nap on the bow. You sat on the bow and napped.
45 minutes.
Until some offshore boat came in and waked you. And then that Bruno, you almost
So
flipped
you remember
over.
that was 45-minute boat ride just to get to Oregon Inlet.
Yeah. And then what about when you found out the mackerels were biting off Rodancy and you went, hell yeah. Hell yeah, baby. I'm going back to bed.
But fishing with Matt was incredible because his attitude was always wonderful. Like, he was always laughing, always happy.
He still is, man.
And he's the same today as he was then.
You see him out there when we go out there and go jacking or something. He's diving in the water, man. He's just like, come on over,
Dude,
man.
come here, dude.
You not bother me, man. I got him right here, dude.
And
That's awesome.
He was great. I worked for him for that summer, and then I went and worked with Walt Sproul on the Hunter.
Could be cuz.
And that's right.
Yeah.
I had to become big game belt. And that was great. And I worked for him for 18 months and got to go to Mexico with him, and that was fun. And then I started working on the Trophy Hunter with Kenneth Brown, and I stayed on there for 7 years.
That's where you got your education.
That's where the education began. I didn't know it, but I didn't know anything when I started with him. I knew a little bit, but it felt like I knew nothing.
It's interesting. I was philosophizing yesterday to the juniors I work with at the other job, and I was telling them that the older you get, and it's true, man, you just realize you just have so much more to learn.
Oh, every day.
Every year I get older, man, I just realize that, dude, it's just so much I don't know. And I thought I knew, but I really didn't know.
And there's so much to do.
It's a lot to do.
We got a lot to do and a lot to learn, and I try to teach that to my son every day.
But speaking of shit to do, you get a text from Dave? Dave Lusk? Anybody got a text from him?
No, God, where?
Last I heard, yeah.
He's ghosted again.
No, I heard he's undercover in Central America.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chasing narcos?
Yeah.
Okay,
This
wow.
one's pretty fucking, this is the real deal.
He might be in the Darien Gap right now.
It's a real deal. I'm worried about him. I'm scared about him. I was pretty happy when he was on the road with the Chippendale crew, but
I wish you would have told me he was going. I
think this was pretty. He had to keep this really low.
I could have gotten him. He could have gone to worked at the spot I worked in Colombia, made some money while he, in his downtime.
Yeah,
Would have been right up his
but
alley.
keep him in your thoughts, man, because I mean he's
Dangerous stuff.
deep undercover.
What you didn't realize is how completely fluent in Spanish and how much he looks like a Colombian.
He does.
You
He
know?
does. He can change just like that.
He looks like one of the he probably fits right in with like the Escobar types of the world. Like he's not a runner. He's like
he does. He
nice,
presents himself like
wearing
that.
the nice shirts.
He does. It's
going
great.
to the clubs.
And even when he
eating the
fishes,
steaks.
he's usually queued up more than anybody else when we're out on the water.
Yeah.
I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
I hope we can get him back
He will.
one day.
I mean, I hope he protects serves his
But
country.
speaking of
with
Dave
honor.
and speaking of what he's doing, which is a great segue, ironically, that podcast with three sober dudes.
I know. I'm going on I'll be a year in a couple months. So you guys have got me beat, but
It'll be 11 years in April.
It's so boring.
I know. God, we suck.
It's so fucking boring. It is. I miss it. I mean, I miss drinking.
Oh, who doesn't?
I miss drinking. I miss.
There's certain times you do, right? There's certain situations where you're like, man, a beer would be good.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. And I just
Not a
think
beer.
man, one
Not a
beer
beer.
would be good right now. But I know if I had one beer, then I would end up having 16.
Never liked beer, but I love liquor.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
I liked it all.
You look like you've had some right now with that hair standing up.
It's the higher the hair,
Scruffy beard.
the higher the hair, the closer to God. That's the way I stay.
You don't find three sober fishermen sitting together at one time.
No,
Very often.
No, and this I want to get Frenzy on here because Frenzy can tell some stories when we and him used to work together way back. But what happened to the generation of Griffs, Charlie Griffins? Let me tell you a story. Back when I used to drink, this was in the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, Griff shows up at my house one morning during this time of year, trout fishing, might be a little earlier. Let's go trout fishing, dude. He's already fucking drinking. It's like 8:30 in the morning.
Yes.
He's already drinking. So we go, all right, sure, Charlie, I'm with you, man. We get a case of beer, pick up his dad, and we go trout fishing up in Duck all day on the beach.
Did you get him?
I had a pair. No, but I did catch an 8-pound mullet, snagged him.
Jumping mullet.
Yeah,
there was some big jumping mullet in the creek yesterday.
Thought I had I thought I had the state record trout on. Charlie was hooting and hollering for me, drinking on the beach, no cooler, case right in the sand.
It's one of my favorite places to fish in the whole world still.
What, in the sand?
In Duck.
Well, that's just where we went.
There's nobody there, It's it's a cool spot.
But
still.
I'm embarrassed. I mean, this is where we came from, drinking at 8 in the morning on the beach with no cooler, to sitting
Doing
around
podcasts with three sober.
three sober dudes now, man. You get stories about when Marty would tell stories about Griff sleeping in the back of his AMC Pacer or something like
Or
that.
showing up in his tuxedo. From
Yeah, that's a great story.
The pirates are still around, and they're all the same age. Close to the same age. We need new pirates, and we don't have all that many.
No, I know. We can't.
Is anybody in y'all's fleet just that kind of dirty anymore? Is there anybody that?
Oh, yes.
Is there really?
I mean, I was up until last year.
Oh.
I was a tough guy. I fished through many a hangover.
Oh. It didn't bother. There was never a problem with me fishing.
Is that right?
Kenneth Brown would tell you different, but
I always made it to bed. I always made it to bed, and I always made it to the boat. I was always somehow, some way. I always drug my ass to that fucking boat the next day. And I remember. I mean, and it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just about every time you showed up terribly hungover, it was rough. Or fishing was going off and you had to be ready. Yeah, I mean, I remember coming
laboring around the cockpit.
I remember coming to some days and looking around and the whole deck was just covered in tunas and I had no idea how they got there. But we were going home, baby, and they were all dead, and it was awesome. But it was like, man, I missed a pretty good day of fishing, even though I was here, you know.
And now it's just...
But I mean, I had days where I would be, like, the charter would be inside and it would be rough. And I would be standing on the edge, the side the wind was coming over. So the spray would hit me in the face because it would feel better. And I would just be, if the more spray, the better. Like, I would be drenched, completely drenched. Because it was the only way. And then I would go down and I would throw up in a bucket. And I would get right, and then the Dickie would drop the lines down, the base would be rigged, and we'd go fishing. But
Joey's too big game to even admit it, like you and I, you and I do. But
I never threw up.
Many day through.
I did
never.
I did through. It wasn't many, but a couple times.
Oh no,
I did.
I got iron gut though.
Yeah, it would be those days where, because I get seasick.
Yeah, I tell you, no,
I never have.
I do. I get seasick, and like if I haven't been fishing in a week and it's rough, like that first day back.
Yeah,
I feel a little funky. You
I know quite a few like
and that. You never sleep that good the night before your first day back for whatever reason. Like my nerves have gone away from me. It used to be it was nerves, but now even the day before yesterday, I went fishing. Yesterday.
I didn't sleep because I hated it.
The day before yesterday, I woke up at midnight and I was like, "What happened? Why can't I
was just
sleep
dreading
right
it.
Mental preparation.
Yeah, I guess so. We didn't eat it yesterday.
What'd you do? Just troll around in circles yesterday?
I trolled mostly in a straight line, in a couple different directions.
Like Gross Nickler? Arvin, I mean, just put her in a straight line right the 102.
Yeah, but no, it was a straight line the opposite direction from the fishing center, not towards the fishing center like they would have done. So.
They did. Yeah, you always have.
People still do that.
That's why you pulled the green.
I do sometimes. I would like to have something in my box before I do, but you know, sometimes you got to find that wahoo. People love a wahoo.
That's what you say.
They do.
Well, I know they do. But,
Charters love.
But that's how you. That's how you justify.
Every one of them.
That's how you justify.
They've caught one. They think it's the greatest.
Well, you guys catch any wahoos right now?
When you pick your riggers up and people are going, "Is that the bridge over there?" That's how you justify. We're looking for a wahoo.
Well, that's why you got to keep the boat straight ahead so they can't see what's going on up front. You know, I've never. I trolled. I caught dolphin all the way to within sight of the bridge one day this year. But we were catching them. I
didn't get that call that day.
It was too rough.
The calls I usually get from the sap.
You were probably catching.
We're 50 over the 100. We're 50 over the 100. It's a little long for you to, but we're getting them out here. I don't ever get the calls when they're 5 miles off the beach.
It was too rough for you that day.
I can see you in there.
It's got to be Slick Con Verdani to come.
What else? We're sober. There's you're fishing. When are you fishing? Are you fishing?
No, we're in the boatyard.
That's so much fun. That's so
Joey's
much fun.
Joey's getting a sonar.
Because got it on the hip.
They get ready to put a big hole in the boat, right in the middle.
That's that 360 deal that you were talking about.
Now, have they cut the hole yet?
Not yet. They haven't done anything.
All right, this is one of those times where we actually get to talk about something that matters. Tell us about the 360.
Well, this is, and see, I've never been on a boat with it. Have you? Yeah, you Tar Heel.
You know more than I know about it. So.
And he knows more than I know about it, probably, because he's been on a boat with it. But, I mean, it is a sonar like the military. That's where it started, the military. Yeah. And they put an 8-inch hole in your boat.
All right. Is it mounted in the hull?
It's mounted in the engine room.
Okay.
And then it has an actuator that pushes the unit down in the water. and it's like a radar under the boat, and that's basically what the screen looks like.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you can see fish
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet this way, that way. I mean, we're such that, you know, in Costa Rica, he'll say, okay, there he is. He should be he's coming in. Looks like, he should be on the tee. Yep, there he is, left teaser.
I'm sure you could probably order one or buy one at TW's. So we got to go to them right now and find out, all right? But we'll be right, seriously, I want to talk about it because I don't know anything about it. And I know when looking at the trades, the pubs, that's what a lot of controversy is about right now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, be right back. Yeah, Donnie D from DOA and Misguided Fishing. Check it out. TW's got everything you need to catch all the fishes. The rods, the reels, string, baits, from all the guys that make that stuff. Shimano, Daiwa, Penn, St. Croix, Yoseria, Meat Hawk, etc., etc., etc. You want to look fly when you're doing all that catching? They got you covered with gear from Salty Crew, Pelagic, Extra Tough, and more. You got questions? Ask away. TW's is staffed by people who fish every chance they get. They got their finger on the pulse of Outer Banks fishing. I haven't even scratched the surface of this place. It's like a toy store for grown-ups. So check out TW's Bait and Tackle in Nags Head, the Outer Banks' largest tackle shop. Milepost 10. Button on?
Yeah, I did press the red button.
Big Game's trying to come up with a trivia question.
All right,
yeah. Before we get to it, I want to keep going. Tell me more about the sonar. So it's up in the hull, and then you press a button.
There's a fiberglass tube that is fabricated into the boat, and then the mechanism or whatever you would call it goes in that tube, and the thing goes up and down. When you set out, you put it down and fish around, but you can't run with it.
That's what I was going to ask you. So you
can't run with it.
It's got a sensor that is supposed to get it up, but I will tell you this, the little bit of experience I have with it. Make sure before Gornell calls you and he's whacking them 25 miles away and you're freaking out because you haven't caught anything, make sure don't take off running and rely on that sensor.
No.
Because you're going to throw the pedal to the metal. You're going to be freaking out. You're going to still have your long riggers out, and that thing will bend a little bit.
Y'all do the same shit. Like
I don't freak out.
Sounds like y'all do the same stuff. Like if I were to call Reese and he'd just freak out.
So
get here.
So my record Sonar.
Then you get there and it's no good.
No, that's when Reese calls you.
You got to make your run. Okay, we're gonna run. Don't even tell your mate. Sonar up. Okay, now we're gonna run.
Yeah. Also, they say this that sometimes you'll be in Hatteras and fishing with the current. You'll be going so fast that it'll come up. It'll keep coming up.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Oh, that's not good.
Well,
I mean, I guess it's
sometimes when you're fishing up, you're making 11 knots.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So the whole deal is regular transducer works on the premise of a cone getting shot out. The deeper you are, the wider the cone. This is working on a 360, sort of like down and side at the same time, but
everywhere.
You can adjust the angle of it. You know, you can. You know, like when he starts seeing a fish, he'll toggle something and it'll come
tilt
up.
Is
you
what
know,
they call it, maybe?
they'll tilt it or something like that. There's all different settings as far as what type of water you're fishing in.
The settings are a big deal, I hear. Everybody has settings they want to give me when I get it.
Yeah, which is nice.
How many guys in the fleet have it?
Right now, only Chris Gornell and Bull Tolson have it.
Yeah,
right? I know Bull's boat. Which boat's Chris?
Fin Planner.
Oh, he's the one that you said shy.
Yeah, he's very shy.
Very shy.
Yeah. Well, we were gonna get him on here because you said you couldn't come. I asked.
Yeah,
him
you're
to
a
do
tough
it.
man to get pinned down. Just dude, show up.
He was like,
you've always you got to. Joey's like, you got to call my agent, dude. We got to work this out. Your people need to call my people. Let's get it worked out. And that time's not going to work for me.
I think Chris would be too nervous.
It would be me and you talking, getting one word answers.
If you and I had Chris, he would be fine.
No, yeah,
we could get him going.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know him. How long has he been at the fishing center?
He worked for Brenner. The first year I worked for Kenneth.
That's what he told me.
07 or 08.
Spent a year getting yelled at by Brenner every day.
More than 1 year, I think.
They recruited him off a boat that
Ocean City, right?
That Ronnie Fields was running, and then he went and worked for Brenner for 3 years.
You're dropping names, aren't you?
He went back to running the boat that he was on, I think, or mating on it. Then he was running it. So
yeah, Big Paul Man boat or something like that. Yeah.
But he's got it, and there's a learning curve. There's a lot to learn about it from what I hear, and there's a learning curve. And
Chris is a lot better at using it than he lets on to be.
Yeah. The thing is, like, what we'll get a couple private. Chris had his, and he would say, "Man, I'm not seeing anything, or this thing ain't doing what it's supposed to do." And then a couple private boats would come up and fish with us midsummer, and they would be pointing out schools of tuna to the rest of the fleet. And Chris never did that for us.
But somehow he's going home early.
You guys are cutthroat.
You would be so mad if you saw this right now.
Man.
It doesn't help me at all.
Bo Dobson loves that about Chris. We hear that a lot.
Is that he's,
Oh, well.
you guys are just...
No, that thing doesn't work. That thing doesn't work. But everybody else who's got it, it works.
It is, deep, clear water is best for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for
That's
whatever
right.
reason.
I read that.
It doesn't work great in shallow water. If you're in a place like where we fish on the point, it's there's so much fish there. There's so much different stuff. There's
Sharks,
there's
molas,
manta
whales,
rays.
porpoises, everything shows up on that thing, and you don't know what's what.
Yeah, so you almost kind of got to put it away and just go fishing, because it can drive you nuts. I mean, I've seen it where these guys can have it now where they can tell what a manta ray looks like versus a marlin, because a manta ray he'll go from this big to this big with the way his wings are. A billfish will kind of
do that some more.
stay
That looks
the
good.
same.
Do that some more. Birdman.
The wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is small manta.
Well,
This is big man.
That'll probably be the picture for this week's story. That right there. Thank you.
Okay, good. Got some good ones up me later.
So that's pretty cool. That's really cool technology. But I assume the guys get it because when you're fishing up in the Northeast, marlin season, where you're looking for just bait,
Cover more ground.
and you got there's the bait. So we know the white ones are going to be somewhere in this neighborhood. Is that?
It's changed the way people fish, hasn't it? I mean, they're fishing faster.
Yeah.
There a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of them are just covering ground out in deep water, and then they see one and they can slow down.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. It helps to be in a target-rich environment to learn it. Yeah.
Cobia fish.
Yeah, so it's basically
Bass.
It's basically cobia
bass, and then I
fishing.
see some fish, or I get some places where I start seeing life. I got to talk about something I'm interested in. So
We're interested in that too.
Yeah,
that's the way I fish.
your eyes are your sonar.
That's the way I fish. Fast until you see life, and then you slow it down and work an area. I also like to transect areas. Do y'all do that?
Transect? Mm-hmm. No, I don't know that word. Don't look at me.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right. You dropped out of
Pretty
college.
good vocabulary.
Transect.
How are you using the word? What do you mean in
When I get on an area,
Like a
then I
grid.
I grid out an area.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I was.
I grid out an area. Yeah. But let's how much is the sonar? 'Cause I just spent a lot of money last year. I
unit-
spent like $140 on a bottom machine last year.
Okay, so the unit cost about 70 to 80 grand, $1,000 US, and but then you have the install, and then you have the machines. I've got 12-inch Garmin's now for my plotter and all that, and I have to go to a 16-inch screen at least. So I've got to get new screens.
Which is
That's the
probably
size-
modifying your console.
That's-
Which will be modifying my console.
That's bigger than the television I had growing up.
I know.
yeah,
The family TV
and
was
a lot more
19
HD.
inches.
Yeah, and touchscreen.
Probably has a remote where we're growing
Well,
up.
the Sonar has a remote, from what I hear.
Frenzies has a different type of sonar, and he has a Xbox controller that he uses to control his sonar. No
Get my
shit.
son to ride out with me.
That would be really cool. You could get him dialed in.
Oh, he's going to go with me and learn that thing.
My son has no desire to do what I do.
Well, that's it. I mean, the sonar's become so important in competition that it's actually a job. Like if
Yes, I was going to go.
Oh, but I would get so seasick if I had to sit there and look at the screen all day.
Costa Rica is mostly where they use the sonar guys, and it's calm. And you've got these boats he's got a SeaKeeper, so it's always calm.
Gyro.
You're
Stabilizer.
fucking kidding me.
We're a charter boat. So after the install of this sonar, it's going to be upwards of 100, way over 100,000 US dollars.
Remember when you could get a used charter boat for less than $100,000?
Not anymore.
Remember when?
Oh, I
yeah.
do.
Back, the boats would get sold here and get sold down to Hatteras for like 75 or 80 way back 30
Yeah,
years ago.
that's where they say Hatteras is where Oregon Inlet charter boats go to die.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool technology. But I didn't know how long you had a gyro.
We've had the gyro now for, I've been on there, 6 years.
Does it really work? Would it help a guy like me that gets...
Yes.
Yes.
It will. We have a gyro that's we actually we are overworking it. When we got it so early that they spec'd our boat with this certain one, which is a 9, SeaKeeper 9. Turns out we probably need a 12, which they're coming out with, or 2 6s, because we overwork it and we put a lot of hours on it. We've had 5 units. They've replaced them
under
because
warranty.
The bearings go out, and they either want us to add one or get the 12 when it comes out. So
is it a problem to get it out of your boat? Like,
we've got it to a.
You got it where you want it now.
I can pull up the middle hatch. They can walk it out, and with A-frames, and we can swap it in about a day and a half at the boatyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good they got warranties like that,
Do you see less people getting sick?
Yeah, and it took a while for I advertised it on my website, but it took a while for people to catch on. But now when I have a lot of people calling, you have a Sonar, a SeaKeeper, right? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, good. We're taking an older guy, or we're taking some kids, and seasickness is a lot of mental. But when they get on there and think that the gyro is going to keep them from getting sick, that they're winning already in that aspect, in my opinion.
Yeah. The problem is you don't have as many charters getting sick and sending you home early.
Right.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I have less people getting sick on my boat too. I mean, than I did when I worked for Dickie. We didn't have air conditioner on the Fantastic, so I think that we run that AC, keep everybody nice and cool. I think it helps, but I get less early dismissals. So I actually got to catch something.
It's tough, man. $2,500 a day, or whatever you guys charge. You have to work all day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
It's bullshit.
Or whatever you guys get paid.
It is all day.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But someday, fishing report, we need a fishing report. I went fishing yesterday. And the fishing was absolutely about the most terrible I've ever seen it. It's going to get good. The bluefins are going to get here, but we're in that in-between period maybe. But it was just it was a beautiful day. It was nice being out there. Hadn't been out in a while. It was cool. Sweatpants.
I was at a firehouse.
Yeah.
What I do when it's like that is I shut all the blinds, so I don't know
how pretty it is.
Don't want anybody telling me that you're missing it.
Yeah,
they've had some good fishing lately out there.
Yeah, it'll probably come back. We just didn't have good conditions. That's the one thing about this time of year, right? The conditions
change in hours.
And you've got to have whereas in the summer you've got all these places where the water's warm, so they could be any. But this time of year it's like they've just got to, the water's got to be right there.
Just like you were saying earlier, you haven't had a bite since the water cooled off.
Mm-hmm. I know y'all are fishing edges and stuff like that.
It
should make it a lot easier for you this time of year. I guess it's just a function of the
confidence. The bluefins will get here and it'll
of the captain,
easy.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, I mean whatever.
All right. You've talked a lot.
I know.
We got to thank. We went to a commercial.
Yeah.
And we didn't thank them.
Yeah.
And we didn't tell who won the giveaway last week.
Okay. Yeah.
So thank our sponsor, Jack.
TW's Bait and Tackle, Nags Head location.
What do they do for you?
They've been great to us.
Tell us how great.
I get my tackle from those guys. We're on video there. You and I. We've got a great video. Go check out the video of the DOA catching fish and the aficionado catching fish.
And eating burgers.
And eating
if
burgers.
You book a trip on the aficionado, they will cook you burgers every day you go offshore.
Upon request.
Every day.
You got to request the burger service, and we only do it when it's calm. Because we like that. We like the gas grill.
And for a special bonus, they'll throw in a midnight cruise too.
No, we won't. We don't do that.
They also, for an extra, they don't advertise this, but for extra special, they have hookers. Is that right? No.
You just give me some notice.
Face on the plate, ass in the air.
Yep.
Aficionado Charters. Book now. Did I get that right? Do I get the motto right?
Just give me a heads up.
All right. Anyway, giveaway last week. Jake's question. Jake had a really cool question. Was how many cobias he caught in 1 year? Was the exact same number of reds he caught off the pier and the beach. The number was 114, which is pretty fucking cool.
That's a lot.
That somebody
caught 114 cobias in 1 year.
Yeah, but that was when he wasn't mating then. He was probably
he might have been mating if he was on the Pelican.
No, 1 year he was on the Pelican. He was in his boat.
He was on his own boat.
Yeah. I mean, there were some sick numbers. I had I don't keep track.
Well,
anymore.
those
But
were
we used
some
to-
of those days
we-
where you'd catch 40 or
We used to, the days down in Hatteras where
and they were little rats, But hey, you fly a flag when you catch a baby white marlin.
When I was on the
That's what I tell-
Fantasia, they were big.
That's what I tell Archie. Whenever he says, that throwback doesn't count. And you tell us, dude, you can't, 80-pound blue marlins count as the blue marlin, don't they, Archie?
Yeah, maybe on a dink pole.
Exactly.
Sails this big.
But anyway,
Flying a flag, baby.
Really cool question. I thought it's a good number. So somebody count how many red drum they caught for
Yeah, I
the
know.
year. That's something
You don't?
I do not do that.
You don't have a tally every day?
I used to keep my cobias until nobody could keep up with Aaron Kelly. I mean,
Yeah.
order of magnitude greater than you sometimes.
I count my drum, but it's just because it's a very, very,
Like 3.
very small number.
Like 3.
I caught 5 this year. My goal is 6. Every year my goal is 6 drum, and I only caught 5.
Maybe we've had too much coffee now that we don't drink anymore, but we can't stay focused. We can't stay on topic.
So who won?
We're 30-some minutes into this, and we've got the Ivy Cage. Her father owns the poacher, Devin
He's
Cage.
caught a lot of drum and cobia.
He's caught a lot of fish in this year.
He definitely has lost count.
Devin is one
He
of
was
the...
like the Black Pearl when I was working on the Fantasia. If you saw the poacher coming, you weren't going to catch it.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys when we used to catch the fish who will not be named now that did the radar in the winter.
Voldemort, yeah.
well,
He could catch Voldemort.
We don't talk about that fish.
No,
We used to catch in the winter.
I remember I fished with him a day. I was young, and remember Charles Perry used to work for him in the winter, and we went out to some wreck. I mean, close, and we caught drum on the wreck. We caught sea bass. I caught an octopus. We had a great day. All kinds of cool bottom fish, and then we came into the shoals and caught a limit of those things that we used to catch.
Yeah.
It was a great day though. I mean, I just always, when I was coming up younger, Devin was like, if I saw, you're like, God, there's Devin. He's a legend. He's been all over the place.
And now his daughter's going to follow in the footsteps
No,
with the fishing rod she won.
She won the rod, but she told me the other day that she's not fishing next year. She's getting out of the cockpit, which she was worked on the head boat for 2 years, which is a great job because it teaches you there's much rather things you'd rather do.
Yes.
I would think. Yeah, she's not. She said she's done fishing. She's going to work in the store and then going to wait tables at night.
Oh wow, good for her.
So
She'll.
guess she's.
I mean, I don't know. I would think she could work on the poacher and make some good money too.
I guess she doesn't want to. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
But anyway,
I get it.
Ivy Cage, good job. She hit the number right on the button too. 114. Some dude had 113 for like 2 days. I usually try to do it for 48 hours, keep it open for 48 hours, and guy had 113. I was getting ready to make the call, and like right at the end, Ivy texted me or messaged me that 114.
I was so mad.
I'm not so sure.
Trivia question because I got it and I didn't win the poll.
Oh yeah, Kelly Hogan's 3 times gotten it in, but time like
I lost on time.
Like he's
I
running-
lost so
he's-
many tournaments.
he's running that 12-knot boat. He just can't get out there quick enough. Somebody's got
I
him.
thought that was fitting that you lost on time.
I know.
Very fitting.
I know. I had to do some research to find the number though.
You had a good source.
Yeah. The Trailblazer.
All right, 30. Can you
Well,
tell
come on
us
here.
a story, or you got to do a giveaway question? Then I got to get a story.
All right. The giveaway question would be what's the
And this is somebody's going to win something from TWs. I don't know if they have any more rods to give away.
We don't know what it's going to be this time.
No, but they'll give us something
maybe a Hawaiian?
to hang from your rearview mirror,
Exactly.
like y'all do. The little ones. Y'all still do that? How about the gold
I put sea witches.
How about the gold necklace with the marlin on it?
We don't use
Both y'all,
Hawaiian knives anymore. We only fish for tuna.
do y'all have those? The gold necklace with the marlin on it?
Or
the hook? What's
Yeah,
the hook from Hawaii? What do they call that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but do y'all have
Or
that?
the marlin tattoo is big now. The marlin tattoo is the big one.
Or
Yeah.
right here.
That's cool. You got the sticker on the back. I know y'all have the stickers on the back of your truck. Go with your right beside your Salt Life sticker. Or maybe you have the Salt Life Marlin sticker.
I think I got a fin planer sticker on the back of my truck that I didn't put on there. I think Danny did that to me, but yeah, I'm not a big sticker guy.
Or gold chain.
Or tattoo guy.
No, don't have a tattoo. Always wanted a tattoo. Never.
Not me.
I wanted to get a School of Remorse tattooed
That'd be a good one.
On the side.
on the side or on the back. You know
Like
what I mean?
you're a blue one and he's riding with
Right,
you.
exactly.
How about
I'm the big fish, and the Remors are riding on me.
and the Marlin tattoo?
The Marlin,
on the shoulder.
because I am the fucking Marlin.
Yeah. By having the remora.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the question could be what's the most white marlin I've ever caught in a day.
Doesn't
One
matter.
day of fishing.
Doesn't matter running a boat or mating on a boat.
And
What's
that
the
would
most
be-
flags big game ever flew for white marlins?
Yeah.
Or ever flew, maybe.
I'm trying to
No,
think.
we can't. Then you might be adding blue ones and sails into it.
Yeah, I was trying to think if the one day.
You probably caught more sails in Mexico, maybe.
I tell you what, I've set the record for sails out of Oregon Inlet twice and was beat out. I tied the record as a captain, but on the same day, Frenzy set the record.
Yeah, I remember that.
This is just like doing a bunch of cocaine because nobody can stay fucking focused.
I know. Here we go. We're talking about sails. So it's it would be
White
the
marlin.
most flags or white marlin in one day. So it can be white marlin.
White marlin.
What's the most white marlin big game ever caught in a day?
Yes.
That's all you need to know.
That's it. That is.
Text me, message me, IG. I don't care. However, how YouTube me,
Spotify you.
Spotify me.
There's going to be some people that know that.
That's all right.
Well, you can exclude them if you need to.
I hope they're watching the show.
Right. Maybe that'd be good.
All right. We got a question. We're going to give something away. TW's is going to, TW's is going to give it away. We're going to hand it to you, make us look like heroes when they're actually doing all the work now.
Or you're going to mail it to them.
Or we'll mail it to them. Hopefully I won't have to mail it to them.
Then we'd have to go to the post office.
No, this rods are for like $40 to mail.
Oh, we're not mailing them.
I'm writing it all off. Writing it all
Got to be a
off.
local.
All right. Tell me a story. I know that a guy of your stature probably has never done anything to be embarrassed by.
Man. So I worked, as I was saying earlier, I worked for Kenneth Brown for 7 years, so I was kind of embarrassed every day because he's so intelligent and good at what he does, he can make you feel this big. But one day, my first year on there, it would be about the third year of mating on a boat, being around, doing it full time. We were starting to fish with a kite. And we use electric reel for the kite reel. And he brought me down an electric mate that he used to use to go red reeling.
The one with the big red,
Yes.
the big red.
Like
thing on
a lot of the guys use
Yeah.
to this day to set up as our kite reel. And Kenneth was always busy, so if he needed me to do something, he just dropped it off, and he didn't hold my hand doing much. I had to figure it out a lot out on my own. And I did not know that you could not plug that red reel into a 110 outlet
Yeah.
because it was a 12-volt reel. And the only 12-volt outlet was on the bridge, but I didn't even know that.
Let's blame it on Kenneth.
Well, you could, because he wasn't there to tell me. I mean, that's what my son would say. Dad,
It came
didn't
with a
tell
plug,
me.
right? It had
Right.
a
It
plug.
looked like I could plug it into that out. So I needed to put some line on it, or actually crank the line off. I'd peeled it off and put the swivels in and the clips where it needed to be, and I needed to crank it back up on the reel because it didn't have a handle. So I plugged it into the 110 outlet of the pedestal at the fishing center and cranked it up, and then unplugged it. And it just happened to work long enough to crank up the however far. And then the next morning I handed it to him. We got ready to set out to go kite fishing because not everybody at that time was doing it, but the ones that were getting them were catching them on the kite. And he goes, "Give me the reel." So I hand it to him. He plugs it in and he flips the switch and nothing's working. And he was like, "Well, didn't you do it yesterday?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, maybe it's my plug up here, but you plugged it in up here yesterday to crank it in." And I was like, "No, I plugged it into the stanchion. I mean, the power pedestal." He goes, "What?" So I burned up his reel, and he made me feel really bad.
What did he do? Did he just look at you and then shake his head?
Yeah, and then he
turn
told
away?
everybody on the radio, which is what the captains do when the mate does something stupid. They want everybody to know how stupid their mate is.
I don't do it.
I don't really do it either.
But some do.
But yeah, that I felt really bad on that one. And there's more. Like, there's funny things that have happened. Like, I swear, we caught a blue one day, and a fish come on the left short rigger, kicking water, and I fed him through the pin and hooked him. And I told Kenneth, I said, "We got another blue one on. Got another blue one on." He goes, "Really? Is it a blue one?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's another blue one." I was all excited. We crank it up there. It's a wahoo. Well,
They'll trick you.
Barry Daniels and Sean Fignugan thought that was really funny because Kenneth said that on the radio as well. And the next morning I get to the boat and there's a Wahoo flag up my river.
Hey, a Wahoo is now not necessarily a blue one, but a Wahoo will trick you.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like a sail or a little white one coming in there. You know, they look. I mean, they got the tail. They do the tail kick.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know.
I did the same thing with my with a Tanacom. I'd been given the dial with Tanacom, and man, I went because I had a plug in my bridge.
Yep.
And I didn't check if it was a 12 volt or a 24, the plug or the Tanacom. And I went and I got the West Marine stuff, and because it came with the thing that had the alligator clips, where you would alligator clip it onto a battery for the wheel to work. Thing. And so I'm like, man, I'm a badass. I went and I got the little plug thing at West Marine, and I stripped it down, and I stripped the little wires, and I screwed the plug on, and I was like, hell yeah. And I plugged it into that thing, and it went and somebody gave it to us, and so then anyway, it was a new operation, and we were over budget, and I was like, oh my god. So I went straight to Oceans East and bought another one. And anyway,
did you pay for it?
No, I did not. And anyway, I shipped, but I shipped this one off to a place that fixes them, and now I have two Tanacoms. I have one for bottom fishing and one. I did pay for it to be repaired.
That's nice.
Which was about $500. So I paid for it. I was embarrassed by that, and I paid for it to be repaired, and it took like a year to get it back. But anyway, that was kind of funny you said that, because I remember that thing going.
I didn't even think about it. I was so green, I had no clue. You know, I hadn't been around all this stuff growing up. But
so now I've got 12-volt bus bars, and I took a piece of wire and I connected that to the plug thing, and it's actually kind of nice. It pulls right out of my console when I plug it in.
You don't know what you're talking about. All that shit.
You don't use electric reels?
I just no anything with electric. But at the house, I just have my wife replace it. Yeah. Tell her to take care of it. She does it. I don't. If it's power and I got to put it in something that's going to shock you,
I've gotten pretty. I kind of enjoy the electrical work a little bit. You know, it's kind of fun when you just put the right things to the right things, and then you turn something on that works. And you feel like a man.
Yeah. It sucks when it doesn't work.
It does, and you can't figure out why.
I like when you do shit and you fuck it up worse, and you got to call somebody and they charge you twice.
That happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, we're rolling, but we got to cut it short. We got to go. Well, it's not short. We're 40-some minutes into it.
Yeah, we did
already.
Good.
Yeah, it's just like that. Now the sun's coming up. We've been up all night. You didn't even know it.
Peeking through the box.
All right, big game. Joey Belton, Jack. Aficionado, Tony D, DOA.
Haphazard.
He's got the hat on.
If you want it.
So, gyro.
I don't have a SeaKeeper and a Sonar.
Gyro, Sonar.
Yep.
Big game.
Finally going to be getting them this summer.
You will be getting them. Anyway, check us out. YouTube, Spotify.
Apple Podcasts.
You got it this time.
I know.
See you later.
Peace out.